Danielle, it's so great to see you here, unbruised, fit and gorgeous.
I don't know about fit and gorgeous, but I'm certainly unbruised. Great to be here.
It's a terribly physical role in Wentworth for you.
Yes, it is. It requires me to be reasonably fit. In fact, in the second season, the producer, Amanda Crittenden, she pulled me over to the side and she said, "Is there any chance you could look like Linda Hamilton from the Terminator 2 at the end of season 2? So I went about training and trying to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and having the diet of a bodybuilder. I don't know if I achieved what my goal was, but yeah, it certainly helped in terms of the stamina and energy that was required for those fight scenes.
You look really on top of your body in the series.
Does that help too with the emotion? Because you bring enormous emotion to scenes without actually seeming to do very much, which is a sign of really great acting, I think.
Well, it's probably because I was in a state of pain the whole time because of the amount of training that I was doing.
Holding it all in.
And just the lack of sleep. But, Wentworth, that world, it requires so much of you. And, I mean, for me, it's the ultimate fantasy job. It's just continually playing high stakes. There's never a dull moment. It's just, I get to exercise that acting muscle all the time on that show. There's never ever a dull moment for Bea.
But while you're doing that, we still love this character. We identify with this character. We empathise with this character. Even though, like Walter White and Breaking Bad, we know that she's on a path to doom, destruction, horror. Who knows what lies in front of her, except it's not going to be very nice.
But do you know, before we go any further, I think we've got to join in the celebrations of your return to prison in the new series.
Chairman of the Board of Correctional Services Victoria maintains that Governor Ferguson has their full support.
Have you read this report?
I compiled it, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, we just love this character, and that crowd outside the prison loved her as well. But as I say, we know that there are bad things coming.
But you know what's great about the series, I think, is the game playing. And you've got that line in the first episode of the new series where you say, "We're all playing each other." And it's true, not just the prisoners, but the governor, the guy on the board. It's so well written.
And as my research, what I should say is the research that I did before season 1 began was very extensive, and I got to speak to inmates whilst they were still inside, ex-inmates and guards who had worked both in females and male prisons. And the guards unanimously responded with, female prisons are much more dangerous than male prisons because of the psychology of them, that women prisoners, inmates are much more wily. And so I think season 3 really explores that. It's a much darker, it's a much more subterranean feel than what the other series have been, 1 and 2. And people start to play games where they manipulate each other psychologically, and it's riveting drama because there was a lot of violence in series 2.
How did this affect your own...
I know.
There's a lot of
very confronted by it.
Well, isn't it, there's real violence in real prisons as well. I mean, how did this affect your own view of incarceration and the politics of prison life in the real world?
Well, it's brought up a lot for me politically. I've now aligned myself with a charity, a kids' charity called Shine, which is about the whole charity is about supporting kids whose parents have been incarcerated to be able to instill in them a sense of self, and they provide mentors, and they chaperone the kids to go and meet the parents and make sure that there are things in situ for kids whilst they're visiting their parents to help break the cycle, to destigmatise the issues that surround incarceration, and to give these kids a greater hope for their future. So and I saw it when I was visiting women in prison, is that there are a lot of good people that just made really bad choices by virtue of their circumstance, their environment. You know, and we see it with Bea. She's a prime example of that. You know, she was at home trying to live a life that was being a mum, being a good wife, and she was with someone who was domestically violent and who abused her and oppressed her, and so she fought back. She didn't have the courage or the strength to leave, but she did have the courage and strength to try and take his life. So, I mean, therein lies a great character, and already people feel they empathise with Bea, but she's an interesting kettle.
That's what's actually interesting about all the characters, that the moral complexity of all of you. You know,
and within this high sort of...
I even like Frankie.
I love Frankie.
Darling, everyone loves Frankie.
I love Frankie. That's why
I was in the writers all the time. I was like, can I get a storyline where Bea and Frankie get together? Please, come on.
We'd love to see that.
But that, you know, like you say, a big applause to the creators of the show, the writers, the directors.
Think it's so well written.
And I work with the most phenomenal cast of actresses and actors. They're bright and brilliant, and
there isn't a weak performance in it.
And speaking of strong performances, let's look at Pamela Rabe as the governor.
What happened to Liz?
She's in medical. But she'll survive.
What sort of human being puts another person at risk just to prove a point?
You don't run this prison, Smith. I do. Bon appetit.
Wow, what about that?
Intimidating to perform against?
Pamela Rabe is a rare species. She is so good at what she does. Yeah. She is a phenomenal actress. Yeah. But contrary to the way she plays Ferguson and how she has embodied Ferguson, she is the most extraordinary human being. She is so funny and so light and so playful, and also incredibly bright. So, you know, if you ever have the opportunity of meeting her, and I wish that everyone in the world did, you would realise what a fantastic job she does with Ferguson, because she's just so not like that. Yeah.
Did she maintain that persona off the set? Did she?
No, she's so naughty.
She's naughty.
I heard she absolutely loves doing it, and I mean, it's to the credit of the show. The writing, the directing, even the music. I think the music is fantastic. The soundtrack's great. That you attract the stature of performers that you've got in this. I mean, I looked at Orange is the New Black, and I've got to tell you, Wentworth leaves it for dead.
Do you think so?
Absolutely.
See, I think this is a really interesting conversation that's happening around these two shows. Yeah. And I'm really grateful for Orange is the New Black, because I think that it's become an amazing leverage for Wentworth. So people, you know, in whatever platform it's seen, the people are naturally going to compare them because they're both set in the same environment, prison. Yeah. But Orange is the New Black it's a dramedy. It's forged a whole new genre in television. And Wentworth is, yes, it's much more gritty and it's darker and everything.
Yeah, I like that.
But I think there's a strength of Orange is the New Black that Wentworth doesn't necessarily have. I think they explore the minutiae of prison life a lot more than what we do. And the choices that we make in our show, they are more gritty, they're more dangerous. So I think, you know, that they complement each other really beautifully.
Give it a bit more of a go.
But I also think it's fantastic. There are two shows that are incredibly popular in the world with both men and women, with two predominantly female casts and storylines. It's great.
Danielle, thank you so much for joining us on our inaugural show. It's so great.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.
And I think we ought to end with a clip from the new series of Wentworth.
Wait here. Give me a minute.
Stay close.
Hi, Mr. Jackson.
Hey, long time no see.
Okay, Maxine. Want to tell me what's going on?
Girls just felt like a bit of a Barbie, didn't we? Beautiful day.
Come on, Max. What's the problem?
There's no problem, Mr. Jackson.
Well, there's got to be something you want to talk about.
You come any closer and someone's going to get hurt.
Okay. Yep.
I mean it.
All right.
You tell them to get out of here. Now!
Back off.
Now!
Back off now. Take it easy, Max.
You take it easy.
Okay.
Fuck off! All of you.
That's right.
Yeah, Missy.
Keep